Today we're going to talk about the P2000 and how it's basically just a USP Compact Gen 2. Now that was really the point in this pistol, was to kind of bring the USP Compact into the 21st century. And the reason for that is, if I was to guess and put out a theory, which I'm pretty sure I'm very accurate on, is if you look at the number of contracts, not the number of pistols, but the number of contracts, the most contracts they have for HK pistols and their pistol line is for the USP Compact. It's not so much the full size, even though it's like right behind it. The full size are not really the largest contract, maybe in total numbers, but USP Compact has been more popular with military and law enforcement around the world and special forces. So they've gotten a lot of feedback about that. So it was a very obvious design to go ahead and upgrade for the future. It's a proven design that they thought, hey, we'll just put a couple of improvements. And actually, there's kind of grown in popularity around the world for those that have used the USP Compact. They're going to the P2000 after their contracts run out, as far as I know. And we'll talk about the pricing and kind of the perceived future of the P2000 and how it's not really too correct, but we'll talk about why the prices on these things are very awesome. But anyways, as far as the P2000 goes, when they upgraded this, they wanted to keep plenty of the USP parts that people fell in love with, but then change some things that they wanted upgraded. So first thing you'll notice is it's basically the same size, 5 inches tall, and it's just slightly, it's very close to the USP Compact in overall length and stuff like that, but carries a lot of features over, and those features would be obviously the size. You got the magazine release here. It's typically the small one, but I replaced mine with the HK45 magazine release because I had a bundle of them. Might as well use them, right? So, it's typically that tiny one that a lot of people hate. But anyways, you get your trigger guard here, and also you get it uses the same magazines, and you can still use the P30 magazines, whatever, but you get the same magazines as well. So that's very awesome for units that use them. And also, here's the thing. I think one of the complaints was the USP Compact has such tiny sights that they didn't really care for it. So when they upgraded the pistol, they wanted to give it full-size USP sights. And why is this awesome? Well, it's because the USP has been around for a while, and it has a heck of a lot of sight options. So you can get a bunch of night sights, different variants and stuff like that. Sorry about that. But there's a lot of options on the market. So that's really nice. Of course, you can see the upgrades, the general kind of looks of it, and you have the ambidextrous slide stops here, which I'm not really a fan of. Number one, I don't use the ambidextrous qualities, but this is one thing I'm not really a fan of, and this is on all HKs. The ambidextrous controls, if you haven't shot your gun but one round every year, you're not going to notice this, but when you break in the pistol, the metal surfaces start to wear, the finishes start to wear and stuff. Out of focus there. But you'll notice that these things loosen up on the P30, every one of them. So for very expensive guns, you're getting this. Let me take out the mag. You can hear that? That's just the slide stop here. That's just this thing. And it jiggles around. And, that's not this one. It's just loose. But I don't really understand how HK couldn't fix that. You're paying so much, and, I don't understand how everybody else is doing it properly, but they're not. But anyways, whatever. So, of course, the trigger mechanism is improved, but, of course, the grip itself is improved as well. That was probably one of the biggest complaints, is that it didn't have hand size options. So with this, I'm going to do a separate video on the back strap because this is kind of awkward how this is set up. It's not really going to be very popular for people that want to switch these out, but I'll show you how it's not really too bad. But as you can see here, it's got like skateboard tape type texture. It's actually pretty rough, which is very nice. It's not as mild as a P30 because of the distribution of this stuff, but at the same time here you have this texture. Everyone's like, well, it doesn't really grab on the hand. That's because this is cosmetic. This really isn't supposed to do anything for you, I don't think. But I highly doubt this is supposed to do anything except for give it a look. So anyways, of course the trigger system has been improved in not really, I wouldn't say it's really an improvement over the USP, but they made the internals more robust. They changed the controls around, which I love this the best, because the P30 has a stupid option for a manual safety, and I think that is pointless on a double action, single action pistol. And I like the rear decocker. I think this is better than any other system. It's out of the way, it's very nice, non-intrusive, and here's the thing. If you're going to decock the weapon, you're ready to holster it. So what's the problem? If you have to push here, or you have to, push here or wherever out of the way, who cares? You're holstering the weapon anyways. That's like getting upset that you have to holster the gun and you can't have two hands on it, while it's in the holster. Or it's a hassle to have two hands on it. But anyways, it's just pointless. But of course the sear, everything else is robust on the internals, and it's really upgraded. It's a very different design, and we might do a video about that. But anyways, there's just some upgrades here that are a little bit different. Of course, you get your rail here too, so you can put a vertical grip or a light on here, whatever you want. But it carries on the recoil reduction system here, and really it doesn't do much for the recoil. I think the flat wire spring does more for the recoil. I think the buffer only keeps the slide from going back too far, because it seems like there's an association, or there's a kind of a link between recoil or muzzle flip and how far back the slide goes, because the closer it is to your hand, it's more of a hand axis, not a bore axis. So the closer it is to your hand on the slide hitting the frame, then the more the recoil. If you look at other pistols, if you put a buffer on there, change the distance, it seems to lower the recoil actually. So it's kind of an interesting system, but at the same time, I don't really think it lowers the recoil that much. But it does somewhat of an interesting job on that. Shooting NATO ammo through these pistols is not really that big of a deal. It doesn't recoil past a certain point, no matter what kind of ammo you're using. I've used plus P plus, plus P ammo, and it's not really sensitive to it. But yeah, I'm really a fan of this pistol. When I was going to the P30, I was looking for something that was like a P30, and I didn't really. I was considering the USP Compact, but kind of nixed that because of the ergonomics, the controls, and everything. And I liked the trigger. I wasn't really a fan of the sights. I didn't really care about a rail or anything, or the ambidextrous quality, but I liked a lot of the robust features of the USP, the proven track record, etc. But this was kind of the obvious choice when I got more educated on the platform. So anyways, I really like this pistol so far. The performance has been excellent on it. I've shot over 500 rounds through this, which isn't much, but at the same time I did a comparison with a lot of different pistols, and this is fallen in about the same in recoil. And when you compare it to a P30, it is, I spoke before that it has more mild recoil than the P30. It's not really more mild, it's a little bit different. It seems like this pistol gets back on target about the same as the P30. Basically the recoil is the same as the P30. So that is a very interesting thing, because you're getting a little bit of a longer barrel, etc. It's a little bit of a bigger pistol. Everybody credits it to being bigger and heavier, so it must recoil less, but that's not really the case. I mean, this pistol is relatively small, but it really doesn't have much recoil at all. And I shot NATO ammo to kind of confirm that, and it has about the same, a little less recoil as far as muzzle flip and stuff than the comparable size pistols like the PX4 Compact and the P07, which I tested it against. But all in all, I really like the performance of this pistol. It's very easy to shoot well, and I'm not going to give it the P30, but I think this is a very good carry gun. It's very robust, and I really appreciate that. And because of the way it has polygonal rifling, and also it has a chamber step, it carries the pressures very well, to where I'm getting very close to 4-inch barrel type ballistics as far as velocities go in these rounds. So it's not really a sacrifice that I would have to make it like if I was carrying the PX4 Compact. So really, if you're interested in this gun, there's a couple of sites that you can go to get these pistols. So as far as the pricing goes, this coming in for $550 where I got it at CD and in Sports, and also the P2000 SK is coming in for the same price. Now I want to talk about the reason real quick before I kind of wrap up this video, but the pricing is not really based off what H&K is charging. It's based off what the seller is charging, because H&K will sell these guns to the distributors for a certain price. The distributors will make a profit by selling it to the sellers, like the gun stores or whoever, for a certain price. And so the seller's got to make a profit, right? Or else this would be a pointless business. So they're not giving these things away. But here's the thing: supply and demand. The USPs are very popular, right? The P30s are very popular. But here's the funny thing: my gun store was getting rid of the P30, so it came in around $700. That's a hell of a good price. You're finding them for about $800 online. In some cases, you're finding them for about $700, maybe a little less online too, because they're not selling them, or they're trying to get rid of them for something else that's coming in stock. So when they really want to get rid of them, they really show the true price of them, but they're still making a profit. That's the thing. Instead of getting like a 50% profit or 100% profit, what they're getting is like 15%, 20%, 25%. So they're still making a profit, but that's the realistic part of it. It's not really about the value of the firearm. It's more about how much the supply and demand is of it and how much they think they can make you pay. And really, it's a big marketing thing. So it's kind of like Glocks. If you don't buy Glocks from a store for a while and they need to get rid of them, it's like $200-300. So really, I wouldn't gauge the quality of a firearm on price, and I'm going to have a lot of content showing that, but at the same time, you're getting these for a very good price, better than USP Compacts. You can find parts on these. It uses a lot of USP parts that are really good parts, but the trigger systems and stuff like that, the only thing that it shares with the USPs really is the hammer spring and the sear spring. So we'll go ahead and touch on that, but those are the important parts. Other than that, everything is pretty affordable because the parts don't really sell that much, but really our H&K parts, even, low priced anyways. But anyways, hope you enjoyed the video. Go ahead and leave your comments below, and thanks a lot for watching.